Welcome to the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Kay Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 98.5 FM WSAX. And today I have Daryl Robinson. He is an executive director and CEO of Communities and Schools of Ohio with over 31 years of nonprofit leadership. He has served in roles with City Year Columbus, United Way of Central Ohio, and the Columbus Urban League. Okay. He holds a bachelor's from Denison University and an MBA from Keller Graduate School of Management. His interests include basketball and martial arts, and he is a second-degree black belt. Come on now. Yes. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome anytime. Yes. So we're just going to go ahead and get into the interview.
Okay.
Can you briefly tell our listeners about Communities and Schools of Ohio and the work your organization does?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. So, Communities and Schools of Ohio, or CIS, we're a nonprofit organization that works in partnership with schools, public and charter across the state to provide additional support services to students to address non-academic barriers in their education experience. So, we work in schools from Cincinnati to Dayton, here in Central Ohio, Toledo, Youngstown, and in the Cleveland area. So that constitutes 46 schools, grades K through 8. And in the schools, we work full-time. Our staff are called site coordinators, and they work in partnership with the leadership of the school, the teachers, counselors, social workers, in identifying those young people and providing what we call integrated student supports, which are 3 tiers of services. So whole school supports, work that we're doing to benefit all of the students, and that can look different in a myriad of ways. Tier 2 support, so it's kind of funneling down to small groups or different types of support for a more select group of young people, depending on what we identify are their needs. And then more individualized case managed support. So we're really honing in on whether it be academics, behavior, attendance, basic needs. That's where we really dive in to understand what those needs are in partnership with the school. And the last thing I'll say is the site coordinators, not only are they valuable working with students in all those different tiered supports, but also bringing in resources from outside of the community that are designed to help the full school where they may not have capacities for certain resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said a nonprofit organization that address non-academic barriers.
Correct.
What type of barriers? I know you mentioned academic behavior, basic needs.
Right. So here in Ohio, one of the biggest challenges for a lot of schools is around attendance. And even the governor himself has put out a mandate or a goal to address the chronic absenteeism in this state. So I'll concentrate on attendance. Yeah. So you think about what are some of the reasons why students aren't coming to school consistently. And it could be everything from transportation. It could be they may be dealing with housing insecurity or transient moving around a lot. They may have some other things going on where they aren't consistently coming. They may be disengaged from school. They may have siblings where they have to get them to school and it's maybe impacting their attendance. Or they may have to get a job depending on what's going on at home. So a lot of those things that aren't necessarily academic, but they impact academics and what young people's success and growth in those respective areas. So our site coordinators work with the school and work with those students to find out what they are, work with the parents or guardians in whatever case that may be, and address those with, we'll do incentives, we'll do different programs, but the site coordinator really has that latitude to figure out what that programming looks like in their respective schools.
Wow. Yeah. So Ohio attendance is a mandate on the attendance in the state of...
Correct. So right now, about 1 in 4 students is considered chronically absent. And chronically absent, the data shows that if you are more than 10 days absent for any reason during out of school year, you are considered chronically absent. It could be because of all different, it could be sickness or you're just missing days. But if those are consistent over time, that impacts your school experience. It impacts grades. It impacts all different things that students are supposed to be getting in school during a traditional school day, right? So the governor put forth all these different types of initiatives and programs and supports that we are a part of, that we also do on our end to help address some of those, just that one piece of student supports.
Wow. So as CIS, and you said you guys have site coordinators, what would they do in that situation for a particular student that's absent?
So the way a site coordinator operates is when we do partner with the school. So now I'm going to use the district here locally. Let's say Columbus City Schools, and there's several schools we partner with. Walking into that school, we don't come in and we don't take teachers' places. We're not there to supplant anyone who's on staff, whether they be a school counselor or a school psychologist or social worker. We're there to work in partnership with. So what we'll do is we'll do an assessment of what the school needs. So if it's around attendance is always going to be one of our goals in every school we work with.
Okay.
But then we may do some secondary goals and figure out what the whole school needs, and then they'll funnel down into more individualized supports. And a lot of that is based off of data. So we'll partner with the school district, to identify what data points could be helping students. So if we'll take attendance, for example. So let's say, Kay, you're a sixth grader, and I noticed last year you missed, let's say, 32 days of school. And that impacted, and there was a direct correlation to you missing school, to your GPA, and maybe even your behavior, right? So looking at that data, understanding what were the challenges in that, and then what can I do as your site coordinator? Maybe connecting with your family, maybe there's something there. Maybe it's just the young person, you're disengaged. Maybe not you. I know you were great in school. You came to school. But there are reasons why kids don't come. So then they will put together, I would say, a support plan designed to work with that young person or to work with you so that you could come to school more consistently. I'll tell you a quick story. This is a true story
You
of
can
one of
take
the schools.
your time. It don't have to be quick.
Okay,
Just tell
a
the
quick
story.
story. I'll tell the story.
Yes.
So imagine this is a young seventh grade male, African American male. He had missed 32 days of school the year before. Had a GPA of less than 1.0. So like literally a 0.88. So what does that mean? Identifying that young person as a need for additional support, and then coming up with a plan, his site coordinator worked with him and other students specifically on addressing why they were missing so many days. 'Cause that's a lot of days over a school year. That next year, after putting that plan together, executing it, and it could look different for this man, it could be more one-on-one time, more incentives, more understanding what those barriers are. Could it be transportation, disengagement, transiencies, other basic needs? And then identifying a plan to address those and working with the school and figuring out what those are. There could be urgent needs, there could be more long-term needs. That next year, the data showed that young person missed less than 9.
Oh, that's awesome.
And his GPA was going north of 3.0. Now, that's
Look at
one
that.
really good example of when you have dedicated adults that are working with these young people that need those additional supports. So that's just kind of how one would look. Then there's other stories you could tell on how you're helping a student go from here to here. And it's really rooted in our founder. So let me back up. We're part of a national organization.
Okay.
So we are the Ohio affiliate that's been around since 1993. But the national organization is part of like 29 states around the country, and we are the Ohio affiliate. It's been around for 50 years, but we've been around since 1993. And we used to be CIS of Central Ohio, but recently, over the past couple of years, we've expanded to those 6 cities that I was sharing with you. And so we have a long history of doing this work, and it's been very impactful.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like you said, the guy, he had 0.8 under 1.0 GPA. You guys got it up to over 3.0. So basically, they have a plan that's tailored specifically for them to see how they can help them individually out with their own needs.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So a cycle, depending on, and it's really detailed the way they do this work. So depending on the enrollment of the school, that site coordinator for those tier 3 supports will take on 5 to 10% of a caseload of students. And those students could be referred through a myriad of ways, self-referral from teachers, principals, parents. Kids could refer themselves, or any one of the other support staff, where they'd be counselors or social workers. And then the site coordinator will work with that, put together that plan based off of what they identify, what they see in working with that young person, or what the data shows. So we collect a lot of data related to attendance, academics, behavior, social emotional development. In some cases, looking at graduation rates. How can we help with graduation? Those seniors that may not have enough credits, are we helping them make sure they're getting their credits so they can graduate on time and on track? Is there something else that could be beneficial for that young person's development. So a site coordinator will have a lot of young people that they work with, individually, small group, and then you think about whole school support. So whole school support could look like, let's say they're putting together an initiative for whole school attendance and so I'll give you an example. We partner with CareSource.
Okay.
CareSource across the state. And CareSource is really honed in on school attendance. And we've partnered with them on quite a few initiatives that involve athletes.
Oh,
And
wow.
in this case, Mr. Cardale Jones, who was, former star at OSU. And there were some incentives that we did in several of our schools where they would get a chance to hang out with Cardale. I think they went bowling, they did pizza
Wow.
parties. We did one with Chase Brown down in Cincinnati. We did a really cool where he came out to the school and they had CIS designed cleats that he wore during a football game. So I got a chance to go to the game and we got recognized. But it was really about how they were so interested in students having these opportunities to see a pro football
Yes.
player or a college star. And those incentives, hey, you want to get involved? You got to come to school every day. And kids are like, oh, wow, shoot. And then so you started to see increases, incremental increases, only because of initiatives like that, plus others that are designed to get kids to come consistently. And there are so many other partners that we work with, but that's like a clear-cut example of how we're not doing this in a vacuum. We're doing it with all other partners and our schools. So I think they value having that additional support in the classroom, or in the schools, excuse me.
That's amazing. So CareSource, their insurance, right?
Yeah, so CareSource, we connected with them. They're also partnered with our national office, so they partner with some other affiliates. And here in Ohio, they've been an incredible partner in terms of connections and resources and programming and incentives. And they're going to get a shout out today because
Come on, CareSource.
They've been so
Yes.
great at being a great partner, right? And they're really saying, hey, you all are the experts. How can we be beneficial in bringing our resources to bear?
Wow.
Yeah, and so there are all so many others that I could name in addition to the great work that we do with school districts. And I'll name some of the school districts if I can. So here in Central Ohio, we have Columbus City, we have Whitehall, Southwestern City Schools, Harambe Christian Academy. We have National Heritage Academies. That's a charter school network that's all across the state. About 10 or so schools. Garfield Heights,
Okay,
Cleveland Heights, Maple Heights, Hamilton Local. We just got a partnership with Hamilton Local here. So about 7 or 8 school districts we get a chance to work with, 47 schools total.
Okay.
And last year we served over 25,000 kids. Yeah.
Wow. Come
Yeah.
on, CIS.
So we're doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you also mentioned, because I'm from the Cleveland area, so
Oh, you
shout
can?
out
Yeah.
to Northeast Ohio.
Why are there so many heights in Cleveland?
That's
I
what
don't
I was
get
gonna
it.
tell you.
Yeah, I don't get
When
it.
you said all the heights,
Yeah.
it's a heights. It's a city. It's a heights. It's East Cleveland, east side of Cleveland. It's
Yeah,
Shaker Heights, Parma. It's everything.
Warrensville Heights, I
Warrensville
said.
Heights.
But in Cincinnati, it's all hills. I'm like, well, okay, it's different, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
So that when you mentioned Cleveland Heights, which is the suburban part of
Yes.
Cleveland, so it's not just urban areas you guys are in. You guys are in the suburbs as well.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
And what we're learning is all of the challenges that students, as we diversify our communities, you're starting to see challenges that you would, quote unquote, see as urban challenges.
Right.
You're seeing it spread out to other communities. And it's more prevalent now. Even in rural communities, we're seeing these challenges. And there's this lack of access to certain resources that groups like ours can help bring to the table, right? Because schools can't do it all. And I don't think it's
Right.
fair for us to always think schools are going to do everything. Because I was talking with the superintendent, or no, it was the principal. Teachers are taught to teach.
Yes.
They're not necessarily given the tools on how to deal with mental health challenges or basic need challenges or transportation issues that a student's going with, or dealing with bullying or other social emotional things that another adult can help be that additional catalyst for that young person. Yeah. So we want to be a partner in providing those things.
That's
Yeah.
good, because us students these days have different challenges than
Yeah.
our era. We didn't have social media.
No.
We had, the TV, they roll it in. We from that area. They roll in TV with the VCR. And,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
so the challenges that we had, and not saying we didn't have any challenges back then, but it's just different than the challenges now.
It looks a lot different. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot different. And then the bullying now is more prevalent. You know, a lot of people, they put stuff on social media. And so
Yeah.
that's good that you guys are in there. Now, you mentioned Cordell Jones, too.
Yeah.
He's from Cleveland.
Right.
Yes.
Right. He's from Glenville.
He went to Glenville.
Glenville, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep, one of Coach Ginn's students, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
Coach Ginn, I was just telling someone over the weekend, every school I went to is Coach Ginn's school now. So I went to a school called Health Careers. They closed it down. Now it's Coach Ginn's school.
Okay.
I went to a school called Margaret Spellacy. They closed it down. Now it's Coach Ginn in there. So I was like, every school, he take over. So shout out to Coach Ginn.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
For helping the guys out there in Cleveland.
I meant to Maple Heights. Did I say Maple Heights?
Okay,
That's
Maple
another one.
Heights.
Yeah, Maple
Okay,
Heights. So a lot of
wow.
heights, yeah.
That is good. And do you guys do Cleveland specifically too?
The Cleveland Metro?
Yes.
Currently not right now.
Okay.
I would love to get a partnership with them, but, you know, we have to have conversations and build relationships with school districts and things of that nature. Yeah.
Well, hopefully after this interview, you get Cleveland Metro and, you know, Parma and Solon and everywhere, wherever they need the gap.
We would love to be able to connect with. Right now, we're in those public schools and those charters, K through 12.
Yes.
Right. So we have site coordinators working at all different levels and providing those additional services. Yeah, absolutely. Because the need is there, and the opportunity to help bring resources to be able to support this work. That's really a large portion of my job. Mm-hmm. Not only with the schools, but with other types of funding. You know, we are a nonprofit, so we have to raise dollars. We have to write grants. We have to build relationships. And then we're statewide. We have to look at public, private, and school funding. Yeah. So we have a balanced, if I had a pie chart, you would want to see a more balanced revenue stream. Yeah.
Okay. And now you mentioned earlier as well that students can refer another student. So how does that work?
So the way I understand it is you've had students go up to the site coordinator and say, hey, Miss Willis, could I be able to work with you? Could I be on your caseload? Right. And there have been instances that I've heard from our site coordinators, yeah, I got room on my caseload, as they're building their caseload throughout the year. The most the site coordinator will take on, depending on the school, is about 70.
Okay.
But most fluctuate between 50 and 70 throughout that school year because that's more manageable. It wouldn't be fair to have 200 kids in your caseload because you can't serve them all at the same level. But
Right.
I have heard of instances where a young person has said, hey, I saw what you did for my friend. Can I get involved as well? Yeah.
Wow. So that's good. So it's something that people can obviously see the improvement, especially as you mentioned
Sure.
with that young man. That is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And I try to go out to as many schools as I can and kind of learn from the site coordinator and talk to some of the young people and get a chance to hear, okay, what has Miss Willis done in partnership with you, and how do you interact with them, and what's your time like? And they'll give you all these different types of things. Sometimes I just come in here, I just talk. We won't even work on my math or my history. We'll just talk, and I'll share this that I may not want to share with my parent or someone else.
Right.
But I have a trusted relationship with that person. I was talking with one young woman. This was several weeks ago. She had missed a lot of school because of suspensions due to vaping.
Oh, wow.
Which you may have heard it's a challenge in a lot of our schools. And she just got caught with a vape pen, and you're not allowed to have them. And it was several times. And so having those conversations about why are you using the vape pens? What are the substances that are going in the vape pens?
Right.
What's going on? And she was dealing with some anxiety and some other things that kind of just being around her friends, wanting to be part of that, and just having the conversations about positive choices. And so that's a new program that we're implementing. We received some support to be able to specifically institute some programming for our site coordinators to facilitate different types of activities around tobacco cessation, positive, really doing what we always do, but adding some elements to address some of those challenges that are related to substance abuse, tobacco use, vaping, things that a lot of young people are engaged in right now. So we're building out that program across the state.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is the program actually implemented as of now, or?
Well, right now, we just did a report on this mid-year. There's a lot of ramping up because this is a different area for us. The integrated supports has always been what we're doing. So to take this idea and to make it seamless with this and might not make it seem like an add-on.
Okay.
That's been part of the work. So there's has to be a lot of training, a lot of understanding, building some partnerships with like American Lung Association and Breathing Association that already have resources that can train our folks, can show our folks how to be more effective in working with young people as it relates to, not only the positive behavior piece, but refraining from using those substances, aka vape pens, et cetera. Yeah. So just trying to integrate more things to bring more resources to bear. Yeah.
That's really good. So let me ask you this. How did you find out about CIS? Because I never heard of it until Earth. Shout out to Earth for introducing us and connecting us. Yeah. So down to Earth PR. Shout out to her.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I heard about CIS. So I used to work for let me back up. Out of college, I worked for an organization called City Year. You may have heard of City Year.
Okay, yes,
So
I heard of City
everyone's
Year.
heard City Year with the red jackets.
Yes.
I did an AmeriCorps year there, and then I went to work for some other nonprofits, and then I came back to City Year and worked in the capacity and some leadership for about 10 years. But I had heard about CIS through my work, my second go-around with City Year. And there was some overlap in terms of we were working in some of the same schools. So City Year did some work more academics. CIS did what I was sharing. And about a year and a half ago, this position opened up, and I was like, oh, I know about this work.
Wow.
I would love to see if I can be a part in helping lead it. And so that's how I kind of learned about it. And I was really good. I was really good friends with some of the former executive directors and staff. So I had known what they did for a while. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of my work has been in the youth space, from Urban League to United Way, back to City Year, and now here. Yeah.
And you said you want to lead it.
Yeah. I said,
you
know
just
what?
didn't want to be a part. You want to lead.
So that was, once I got into the nonprofit space, because that's all I've done my whole career. I said, I was seeing all these great leaders in the community. I said, I want to be there one day.
Yes.
But I knew I wasn't ready at 25, 30. So it's taking me a little bit longer to find my leadership style and how I want to see this work happen. Because you said you'd never heard of CIS before.
Right.
That was one of the biggest challenges. Been around 30 years. If I showed you that logo, like on the card here, you would have no idea what that is. But other nonprofits, you say, oh, I know exactly what they do. Even if you're not sure all the intricacies of their program, you have a pretty good idea.
Like you said, the red jackets.
Yeah, the red jackets. Yeah, you see a City or red jacket, you have a good idea. It's a youth AmeriCorps program for doing a service year. Here, you've been around a long time. You say, I think I know what you do. Explain it to me again. So we've done a really good job, I think, in having platforms like this allow us to get the word out. So we've changed up our marketing materials, website, our elevator pitch, everything visual so that you can understand it a little bit quicker than me having to explain it. I mean, I'm doing more explaining now, but if I'm speaking to legislators or superintendents or other partners I'm looking to connect with, how can I get that? Oh, I get it.
Right.
Yeah, I want to partner, or what can we do to do some work together? Yeah, so that's been a big part of my goal over this past year and a half.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
you're doing an amazing job.
Oh, I appreciate
Getting
it.
out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
platforms like this are really strong for talking about the work. And I really lead with the site coordinators' work, because they are the bread and butter of how this happens. We have a lot of really good support staff and program directors and finance and operations and development folks, but without the site coordinator, none of this work can happen. I think that's with any program. You
Right.
get the boots on the ground, or sneakers on the ground, doing the work with the young people. Yeah.
That's good. So
Yeah.
as far as a site coordinator, and real quick, and we'll get into
Sure.
some more in part 2, but real quick, how can you become a site coordinator? Like, what are the qualifications?
Absolutely. Well, the good thing about being a site coordinator, you have to have a certain education level. So it's
Okay.
nice to have a bachelor's degree. You can have a master's degree. We've had folks that have been former teachers, former youth workers,
wow.
former social workers, those who were coaches. So you don't have to have a licensed credential to be a psych coordinator. You just have to meet the criteria of the job description and have a passion for working with young people.
Well, that's good qualifications.
So right now we have 47 psych coordinators working in 46 schools. Yeah, some of them have been with us for quite a while, and so some of them we have some new folks coming in, and we have a pretty. You go to our website, you can see all the pictures of them and kind of their titles and where they work across the state. So we have a very diverse staff also, which I'm proud of. Yeah.
That's good. And former teachers, so if someone wants to retire or even want to transition and go through a different way that you're still helping out the students.
Absolutely.
That would be a great career to transition to.
It would be a great one. Like I said, we've had people come from all different walks of life and that are meeting, some of the education criteria and are able to facilitate the model with the young people effectively. Yeah. And we do ask them to do a lot of data. So there is a lot of outcomes that we want to show the impact of the work because, what's that saying? What gets measured gets done. Right. And then if you want to bring resources to bear, you got to show that your program is a value add to what you're trying to bring in terms of dollars and cents. Yeah. Because it does come down to dollars and cents.
It does come to all about that money.
Yeah, all about that money. All about at the end of the day. But and what's really cool about it is not only are we bringing in resources that are monetary, but there are in-kind resources they're bringing in. They're bringing other opportunities where students are getting access to. Some have opened up school stores. Others have done this, and just all these really cool things. Was it 2 months ago? We have a really strong partnership with Southwestern City Schools, and through some donations and some partnerships, like IKEA and a couple other groups, they helped build or build out this school support store, like closet, where you can go in and they built new shelving and got new clothes, and you can go in there and for the community and access. You need another pair of shoes, a nice little hoodie. You can go in there and check it out.
Resources. Yeah. Wow. So keeping on that, and once again, we'll touch base on this more in part 2.
Yeah.
How can we reach you? This is an amazing organization, and thank you again.
Our website is www.ciskids.org. That's ciskids.org. And our number is 614-288-2472. And you can go and just call and look on our website and learn all about what you can do, how you can volunteer. Because if you don't want to give dollars, you can give your time.
Yes.
You can give your time, you can give your information and knowledge and background. Or you can put together a school supply kit for kids or a health supply kit or something fun. There's all these opportunities that our young people would love to take advantage of.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. And then for me, the show always was looking for a sponsor. So if you would like to do that, you can reach me at kwillispodcasts@gmail.com. And thank you for tuning in to the K. Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 98.5 FM WSAX. Please like, share, and subscribe to the K. Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the K. Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Please order my book, The Principles of Overcoming Life's Obstacles, a 31-day journey to positive living, available on Amazon.com. Until next time, stay positive.